Evolution is a natural part of life. There is nothing in our lives that is exempt from evolution, including our financial story. Maybe you've got a configuration in your chart that's less than favorable, or maybe you are misaligned, or maybe you've been going through some hardships when it comes to finances. You have the ability to transform and evolve from your present circumstances. And when we talk about Venus and Pluto, that's exactly what we're talking about, transformation. Most importantly, and the juiciest and sexiest part of Venus and Pluto is that it uncovers hidden wealth. And I don't know who doesn't want to find some extra hidden money someplace. All right, so in this video, I'll be talking all about Venus and Pluto, how to unlock your hidden wealth and transform your financial story. So if you're interested, stick around. You definitely don't want to miss this. Hello, my loves. As always, I hope that this video finds you well and in excellent spirits. If you're new around here, hi, hello, my name is Mel. I am a professional astrologer and sound therapist, and I'm the founder of Divine Feminine Works, where I help people unlock their divinity and discover their magic. So if you're new, welcome. And as always, if you are returning, welcome back. So in today's video, I am going to be talking about the pairing and the configuration of Venus and Pluto in your natal chart. This is day 14 of our 31-day Money and Astrology series, and today's video concludes our week all about Venus, so definitely pay attention. Venus and Pluto is sexy, it's magnetic, but it is powerful. As a matter of fact, when you put these two together, this is how you turn pressure into prosperity, and it evokes the phrase, pressure makes diamonds. This is the realm of Venus and Pluto. This is how you permanently and profoundly change your situation for the better, whether you are uncovering hidden wealth, whether you're eradicating bad habits that contribute to lack, or whether you are turning your magnetism all the way the fuck up and magnetizing the shit out of things to you. All right, so without further ado, let us jump right in. All right. So we've talked about Venus and how she's attraction, pleasure, and your earning style. We've talked about Venus and Mars, which is the action that you can take to create opportunities. We've talked about Venus and Jupiter and how you can align with abundance and luck. We've even talked about Venus and Saturn and about how you can respect money so it can respect you back. Now we're going to take things a little deeper and a little darker. We're going to talk about Venus and Pluto. And this is all about power plays when it comes to money. Now, Pluto is a very interesting planet. It is intense. It's deep. It's dark. It's substantive. It's the realm of transformation. And just like I said in the intro, it's about transforming your financial story. That's one facet of it. But the other facet of it is power and control and how to use them wisely and constructively. That's the thing with Pluto. Pluto is power, and power can be used for good and for not so good, right? Using Pluto for good, using power for good is making change, right? That's constructive. Whereas using power for not so good is manipulation and ego and control and all of those kind of things. So when you talk about Venus and Pluto together, you're talking about how to transform your finances or even your values related to finances, right? Together, they reveal your capacity to reclaim your power. That's a very important phrase there. Reclaim your power through money, through relationships, and through self-worth, okay? It's reclaiming power. That's important because the very phrase reclaim means it's not something you're creating. It's something you're remembering. It's something you already have that you're taking. Pluto is the seat of your power. And the reason why Venus and Pluto together really talk about hidden wealth is because you are excavating your life, mining your life for the hidden power, the power you haven't tapped into, the power that you've forgotten. And that's how you transform your financial story. Really deep and substantive work. Could also be dirty work. Pluto is also the planet of the underworld, the stuff that we don't want to address, the darker side of life. And when we are mining our life for diamonds, oh, it gets dirty. You got to be able to roll up your sleeves, get to work, and be willing to face the things that perhaps you don't want to face. That is where your hidden wealth potential lies. All right. So now let's get into some key Venus and Pluto aspects. Now, again, to reiterate, if this is your first video that you're seeing and you're not too certain about astrology assets, I've linked some videos in the description box below for you to either refresh your memory or learn them for the first time. But essentially, aspects in astrology are the relationship between planets by degree. Essentially, it's the conversations that two or more planets are having in your natal chart and in other charts. Now, there are 5 major aspects, right? And perhaps Venus and Pluto, their configuration in your natal chart, don't fall into any of these 5 assets. It's perfectly fine. You can always, here's the thing that I love about astrology and natal charts. There's more than one way to skin a cat. You can learn information from a variety of different ways and different modalities. So if you don't have Venus in aspect to Pluto, you can look at the configuration between Venus and Pluto in terms of element or even in terms of house. That will give you sort of kind of the information that I'm about to talk about right now. But in any event, let's say that you've got Venus aspecting Pluto and they fall into one of those 5 aspects. So first, let's talk about the conjunction. This is Venus and Pluto at or around the same degree. This is plutonic. This is so, it's like radioactive. That's how powerful it is. All right. Intense magnetism. I'm talking about you look at something and you can draw it right to you. You have a hidden power to attract that you probably don't know and very likely don't understand. Okay. It's all or nothing energy. It's potential for massive, massive wealth when power is used consciously and constructively. When you know the power that you wield and you wield it constructively, honey, we're talking about millionaire or even billionaire status. No lie. Next, let's talk about the soft aspects. So let's say you've got Venus trine Pluto or Venus sextile to Pluto. This is a deep understanding of value. It also attracts powerful allies and relationships. This is wealth through transformation or even psychology in a way that's very natural to you, in a way that happens naturally, or in a way where these kind of opportunities always present themselves to you. So you understand the power that you have. You have transformative power concerning money at your fingertips. And relationships can actually play a key role in transforming your financial story. For instance, Venus trine Pluto, depending on where it's placed in your natal chart, it could mean that marriage always helps increase your wealth. So maybe you're always marrying wealthy. Maybe you're always attracting suitors who have a lot of money, right? It's at your fingertips. Then let's talk about the hard aspects. When Pluto and Venus are having a harsh or difficult aspect in your natal chart, it can definitely feel not the best. All right. This is when money is linked to control. Money is linked to control or power. So someone else may be pulling the strings. There may even be manipulation when it comes to money and such. There could be a lot of fear related to money, obsession related to money, violence and black market stuff related to money. Okay. Major lessons in surrendering, but most importantly, empowerment are sort of the major concepts when you have Venus in harsh aspect to Pluto. Okay. And of course, if you want to know more about these kind of aspects, or perhaps if you want more information on how these aspects play out in your natal chart, then join us over in Cosmic Collective. It is my private online community where I not only have exclusive content, but I go live every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern for Cosmic Cash Flow Fridays, where I talk about the videos for this week, give you some examples, take a deeper dive, and I have a Q&A where you can ask questions not only about the material, but about your particular natal chart. So if you're interested, link is in the description box below. It's $11 a month, but you can get a free 2-week trial if you sign up now. So get on it, all right? So let's talk about how this energy can show up in your everyday life, in real life. So first, financial highs and lows teach emotional mastery. It's not good to get too high. It's not good to get too low. Remember, Venus is the planet of balance. And understanding the emotions and keeping an even keel is kind of one of the ways that Venus and Pluto, that configuration, can show up for you. Okay. Next, you may attract wealthy or influential partners. I was talking about that when Venus is in soft aspect to Pluto, right? Or if Venus is in hard aspect to Pluto, you could face power struggles in money matters. Okay, power, control, and influence are the realm of Pluto. And when you link up Pluto and Venus, power, control, money, and all of those things are power, control, and influence. Sorry, power, control, and influence are sort of directed when it comes to money. All right, next, the more you release control and align with purpose, keep that in mind, align with purpose, the more abundance flows. So Pluto is the planet of control. Now, sometimes we hold on to things so tightly and want to control them from a place of lack and fear. And remember, Venus is about abundance and pleasure. There is no room for lack in her vocabulary or in her mindset. So sometimes abundance is not flowing because you got too much control. You're micromanaging. You're holding on too tight. Venus and her configuration to Pluto in your natal chart could show you where you need to relinquish control so money can finally flow to you. And then finally, Pluto's gifts are long-term. Much like the realm of Saturn, where we're talking about long-term wealth, when you transform your financial situation in accordance with Pluto, it is not only profound, it is permanent, or mostly permanent, right? But Pluto's gifts are long-term. So wealth that comes from healing, from transformation, from wisdom, and from strategy, in accordance with Pluto, it sticks and it stays. I don't know about you, but that's how I like my money. Now remember, Pluto is the realm of the underworld, so you got to get a little dirty. You got to face your fears, obsessions. You got to face control issues, power struggles. It's not easy work. Transformation never is. But you can go from the caterpillar to the butterfly, financially speaking, if you're willing to roll up your sleeves, get dirty, and do the work. All right, so now let's get into why this even matters and some quick integration tips. Pluto matters. I mean, everything in your natal chart matters. I don't want you to think that there's things that don't. There are things that may be more relevant than others, but that's another topic for another day. Pluto is the seed of change. If you are looking to change your financial situation, you would immediately look to Pluto. And because we're talking about finances, you would look to Venus. So Venus and Pluto, that's how you change your financial story. Point blank, period. All right. Venus and Pluto teaches. Here's what I'll say about Venus and Pluto. Venus is also the planet of self-worth. Now, we haven't talked about that a lot in the context of money, but it definitely plays an important part there. Pluto also has to do with psychology. When we talk about, or when we assess why we do things, our motivation for things, that falls within the realm of Pluto. So when you understand your motivation, your why, especially as it pertains to money, you can do better. When you know better, you do better. And this Venus and Pluto configuration in your natal chart teaches you self-worth and how to use that self-worth and your motivations to increase your bottom line and to increase your wealth potential. Okay? Next, When you stop attaching value to external validation, that's a deep one right there, you unlock inner magnetism. You know, when you really think about it, right? You know, especially like in high school, those kids that were aloof, they sort of didn't care what anyone thought. They were really themselves. They usually were the popular kids. They were the trendsetters. They were the one that were the leaders for the most part, right? It's those people who were constantly seeking external validation. Do you like me? People pleasing, all that kind of stuff. That's like less than popular, less than attractive, less than desirable. By attractive, I don't mean physically, that energetic attraction, right? When you stop attaching value to external validation and you ignite and activate, perhaps reclaim your inner magnetism, that's how abundance can more easily find you. Food for thought. Next, true prosperity. True prosperity comes when desire and power work in harmony, not competition. Remember, Pluto is the planet of control. Control and competition kind of go together. When you put desire and power together and you work them constructively, harmony, money, increased self-worth, increased wealth potential, increased potential to change your financial situation comes a lot more easily than if you are fractured by competition. All right. So those are just some of the key takeaways I would say, or I would like to express when it comes to this particular configuration. But above all else, remember that transformation is possible. And you would look, especially when we're talking about money, you would look to Venus and most importantly, Pluto for that. So tell me, where is Pluto in your natal chart? And do you understand the power or perhaps the hidden power that it holds for you? Comment down below your Pluto sign and house. All right. And maybe you're not too sure. Maybe you see where Pluto is in your natal chart, but you don't understand it. Or maybe you have no idea what your natal chart is talking about at all. Don't worry, I've got you covered. So in my signature natal chart experience, the blueprint, we dissect your natal chart from soup to nuts, but we take a particular interest and focus in Pluto and how it can change your financial situation. Now, this experience isn't just a regular natal chart reading. You not only get a personalized reading, you also get a private client portal where you will have access to a plethora of resources designed specifically for your natal chart. But most importantly, you get a 30-day money map so that post-reading, you know exactly what actions to take to transform your financial situation. And that's super valuable. So if you're interested in that, the first step would be to book a free clarity call with me. It's a 15-minute clarity call over Zoom where we decide whether the blueprint is right for you. And if so, how to get started. So if you're interested, the link to that will be in the description box below. All right. And apart from that, if you want to know more, join us over in Cosmic Collective, where you can get more and ask more questions. But above all else, I want you to remember Pluto plus Venus equals financial transformation, point blank, period. All right, my love. So that's essentially all I've got for you for this video regarding Venus, Pluto, and your hidden wealth potential. All right. I sincerely hope that you were able to get at least one important piece of information that you can use to transform your financial story. So this is the last video in our Venus week where we've dissected Venus and her pairing with other planets. And beginning tomorrow, we are going to take things a little broader. We're going to talk about Jupiter. We're going to talk more about Saturn. Plus, we're going to talk about timing, okay? Because nothing's more important than knowing when. All right. So if you haven't already, subscribe and set notifications so you don't miss any of that. Don't forget to take the Abundance Archetype quiz. And also don't forget to enter the giveaway and share this video with anyone who you think could benefit from it if you find this information helpful and valuable. Okay. And for the links for everything that I've talked about, they're all in the description box below. All right, my friends, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care.